my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the most awesome homesteading channel on the entire planet that has nothing to do with homesteading whatsoever. Homesteading off the grid. So it's been a few days since we've done a video, and so this evening we're going to tell some stories. Some really creepy ghost stories, stories of the supernatural, premonitions and whatnot. And I guess I found out this weekend I'm pretty decent at this. Let me show you something. I'm up at the campground. Look at this. See all those chairs? Did we see all that? Did we have a big party up here this weekend? No. There's the edge of the tent there. So it's funny. My son had there were 5 kids here total. Him and 4 of his buddies. They're all 13 years old. These big bad teenagers. Decided since it's summer break, they just come over here and they were going to camp out for a couple nights, right? So we came, I helped them set up the tent. They did most of the work, I just supervised it. And we got a fire going. Even though it was raining, they were still going to sleep out here. So one of the kids, of course, says, "Hey, Coach, will you tell us some ghost stories?" So I'm like, "Well, sure, why not?" So I told him a couple. And then everybody went back down to the house that night and slept at the house. They were too scared to sleep up here after hearing the stories. So the next night, they're in the house, eating dinner, getting ready to come up here, and my wife says, don't you dare go up there and tell them ghost stories around the campfire tonight. They'll be afraid to sleep up there again tonight. I said, okay, I won't. So one of the kids says, "Hey, Coach, why don't you tell us one here before we go up?" And I was like, all right, just one. So I told him just one, and no one left the house and came up here. So this weekend sleepover with these 5 big, strong teenage boys, all of them play football. It was supposed to be a camp out. Turns out it wasn't. So let's see if I can keep you people from going to sleep tonight, all right? I'll tell you a couple stories. Now, these are viewer-submitted stories. If you have a story that is anything related to the supernatural, paranormal, cryptids like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, UFOs, alien abductions, gotten some of those recently, and you want me to read it and share with our viewers and have it considered to be put in an upcoming volume of True Hauntings, which of course we'll put it in there. Email it to us with your permission to use it, however we feel free to use it. And we'll do that. The email address is crazylake@mail.com. Okay? So as I read these stories, remember to get my 6. Watch behind me because you never know who or what may or may not show up in the backgrounds of these videos. So, let's get on with the first one. It says, "Hi, Kevin. You know me as LiveFree123 on your YouTube channel. This story is absolutely true, and it happened to my sister Brooks just recently. She gave me permission to share this with you and your viewers, and she said you can use hers and my name. So it's Tracy Gale. And hang tight, everybody, because we got 2 stories here I'm going to read today. This one from Tracy Gale, and one from our old buddy Charlie in England, over there across the pond, gave us another one. So I'm going to read that too. So now on with Tracy's story. Brooks lives in Ruidoso, New Mexico, and as you may have heard, they just had a catastrophic fire rip through the mountains. 1,300 structures were destroyed and 3 people lost their lives. Sorry to hear that. That's terrible. On Monday morning, June 17, they were given sudden notice to evacuate immediately and told not to delay. The fire was spreading so rapidly it took many by surprise. Brooks grabbed just a few things and her 2 pets, a dog and a cat. She quickly put them in her pickup and headed out of the area. Traffic was absolutely crazy with people all trying to flee at the same time. She eventually made her way to Roswell and fortunately found a place of refuge. She basically had left with only the clothes on her back. Now I'm going to go back to the end of March, first part of April. This is a key part to the story. Brooks is a co-host on a YouTube channel that talks about abnormal happenings, cryptids, and Bigfoot. She's a viewer of your channel, by the way, and she loves it. Hello, Brooks. She had videoed a fire burning in her fireplace for the host of her channel to use as a background while he shared stories. Something very odd was appearing in the fire in that video that could clearly be seen. And I'm sending you a picture too. It's a flock of starlings going over top of me. I was like, what the heck is that? And I did see the picture, and the picture looks exactly as what Tracy's going to describe here next. As Brooks was fleeing her beloved home, oh, wait a minute, no. There's clearly an angel in the fire. You can see his wings, hair, face, and hands holding a sword, and there's an image of a Bigfoot next to him. We were all amazed as we looked at it. As Brooks was fleeing her beloved home, and while she and I were talking on Skype, we remembered the angel in the fire in her fireplace. We both agreed it had to be an omen of an impending disaster, but that she was not going to lose her home. We agreed to hold fast to that sign and believe. A peace came over her, and she felt like her home was going to be okay. She was displaced 11 days and actually was able to get back in her area today, June 28th. So Tracy sent me this about 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. The homes 2 doors down were burnt to the ground, and the houses behind hers were destroyed, and some in front of her home were gone as well. Only a few were left standing. She drove up to her home, and it was completely fine, and the smell of smoke wasn't even in her house. She called me immediately to tell me. Needless to say, she is truly thankful. Edit this story any way you see fit if you choose to share it. We're just glad to be able to share it with you irregardless. Kevin, I really appreciate and enjoy all your videos. You have such a beautiful family. Thank you for sharing your life with us complete strangers. See you for more next time. Tracy Gale, aka Live Free 123. Tracy, thank you for taking the time to type up that story and submit it to us in an email, and giving us your permission to share it with the viewers. Again, folks, if you have a story, send it to us here at crazylake@mail.com. Okay? Let's get on now to another story about Dartmoor Workshop, submitted by Charlie in England. And Charlie in England, I'm going to save my story until after this story, but this kind of reminded me of it. You're not far off with some stuff in here. I'm going to share it with all of you. So here's Charlie's story. Hello, Kevin. Charlie in England here. I'm happy for you to share the following story online and in print. Ever since reading a novel set in Puritan 17th century England at the time of the English Civil War, I have been fascinated by the belief at the time that butterflies were the souls of people who had died or passed on. It was forbidden to interfere with, capture, or kill these creatures, for to do so was harming the souls of the dead. In the novel, Lady of the Butterflies, the American title was Rebel Heiress, a wealthy Puritan family disinherited the female heiress to an estate/dynasty because of her passion for unraveling the mystery of the life cycle of butterflies. I guess this means she would open the cocoons, try to see what's going on in there. At this time, the Puritans castigated scientists, all male, for collecting and killing butterflies and investigating their life cycle. At first I thought, did Charlie mean to write castrate? Boy, I hope not. So I Googled the word castigate, and it means to treat very harshly or to admonish, or to scold. So let's hope that's all that happened. At this stage, female butterflies laying eggs, those hatching to become caterpillars and feeding on plant vegetation, becoming chrysalids and hatching into butterflies was a mystery. The scientists had not linked the stages of the life cycle, and for instance had no idea what caterpillars were. So I guess back in the 1600s, they didn't even know those caterpillars would become butterflies. The family in the novel disinherited the heiress on the grounds of 1, being passionate about unraveling the mystery of the butterfly life cycle, 2, her insanity to be conducting this research, 3, her audacity to be participating in a male domain, science, and 4, messing with the souls of the dead, which was heresy. So rather than being condemned to life in an asylum, the rebel heiress, disguised as a teenage boy, fled to the Americas. There, still in disguise, she continued to assist in research, and the sole person who knew her real identity was her lover, a male scientist. What follows is an account of a writing workshop I attended in March 2011. This was linked to the beliefs about butterflies at the time of the heiress novel, which was a fictionalized version of true events. I attended a week-long writing workshop run by Arvin in March 2011. The venue, a 14th century farmhouse, which allegedly was haunted. As a medium, I can confirm that the building was indeed haunted. I saw white and gray ghosts wandering along corridors and through walls and across a bathroom while I was using it. Earthbound spirits wailed, moaned, laughed, and pestered me to pass on messages to the living 24/7. I said no and shut down my ability just so I could get some peace and sleep at night. The spirits also stamped along corridors and up and down stairs, the noise freaking out other workshop participants. And my EMF meter readings and the numerous freezing cold spots in the building day and night confirmed the spook load of the building. One participant, freaked out by the spooky goings-on, got on a train back to civilization in Bournemouth pronto. I just heard a tree knock. It was loud. Continue to get my 6. So here I was in a haunted 14th century farmhouse on the northern edge of Dartmoor in Devon, 4.5 miles from the nearest village, and in Hound of the Baskervilles country, that great Sherlock Holmes novel written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I've read all 4 novels and probably 30 of the 56 short stories, or 54. Love that stuff. In daylight, I chased sulfur yellow butterflies along hedgerows, trying to photograph them if they would only perch, in vain, for they never stopped. As a lifelong butterfly lover, captivated by the creatures, I knew they had to perch and bask in the sun at some point to raise their bodies to 34 degrees Celsius, the temperature at which they could fly. These were therefore like no butterflies I had ever seen. There was something odd about butterflies which never basked. It just didn't ring true. And one night, the entire group of workshop participants, including me, walked the 4 miles to the nearest village in newly fallen and thick snow and under a full moon. And, as the universe is my witness, I saw 3 of those same driven sulfur yellow butterflies fluttering along beside the 8-foot-high roadside hedges. Was the 17th century belief correct? Were some of what appeared to be butterflies the souls of the departed? I wouldn't be surprised. The end. So thank you, Charlie, for that story, and Tracy, thank you again for yours. Again, folks, if you've got a neat story, send it to us, crazylake@mail.com. But Charlie and others, here's what I was going to tell you about that butterfly thing. That's the second time I've heard that theory, or that belief, that butterflies were the souls of the deceased or the departed. That's also a very common belief in my wife's native Philippines. And as you know, most of you, we spent this past winter in the Philippines, almost 5 months. And when we first got there, our first week or so, we stayed up in Luzon, which is a major northern island. That's where Manila is. And my beautiful bride, Dearly, a.k.a. Giggly Girl's sister, Mary Jane, my sister-in-law, has her own travel business, tour guide business, and she took us to this place called Bolinao, which is about 5 or 6 hours north of Manila. Beautiful place. It was on the coast of the Philippine Sea, and there was a mountainous area, and we went into the mountains, and we swam in the crystal blue rivers. There's videos of this on this channel. I mean, they were the water was the color of these crocs. And the mother was there, my mother-in-law, and there was a butterfly that was following her from the first place we went, okay? These were the rivers and the falls. That's where we went first. This butterfly kept following her, and she'd catch it on her hand, and she was saying that it was Connie. Connie would be Dearly's sister that died while giving birth about 3 years or so ago now. Three years, yeah, because the little boy just turned 3. The little boy lived, Andy. The whole family's raising this little baby, but the mother passed away. So she was saying, it's Connie, it's Connie. She was just playing with this butterfly the whole time at the river. And I thought, whatever, grieving mother, I'm not superstitious. Well, later that day, we went to another venue where it was like this place where you could go into this cave and swim in this underground pond. It wasn't as big as a lake, but it was bigger than the pond in our front yard. And they had spring-fed pools all over the place. It was a beautiful resort, so we went there. And again, here was this butterfly with my wife's mother was, oh, it's Connie. Connie's still with us. And she was holding the thing on her finger. Well, this is when it occurred to me that there were no other butterflies anywhere around. There was just a single solitary butterfly. And then I had this idea, this thought, is that the same butterfly that was at the first place? Because that place was a 45-minute van drive away from here. So I made sure to get a good look at the butterfly, okay? Well, in the evening, later at the end of that day, we capped off by making it to where we would spend that night, and I think maybe the second night, and it was right there on the water, on the sea, Philippine Sea. And the kids were playing football. One of my brothers-in-law was fishing in the ocean. We took a fishing pole over for him, gave it to him as a gift. He was out there casting. I was hanging out with Dearly and Daniel. But then I noticed her mother sitting on the hill up there. I went up to check on her. Hey, how you doing? And she was up there with a butterfly in her finger. She said, oh, I'm just hanging out with Connie. We're watching everybody have fun. Sure enough, the butterfly on her finger looked exactly like the butterfly that was on her finger at the last resort we'd stopped at, which was at least 30 minutes away from here. Van ride. So, true story. Hey, maybe that was like the most prolific type of butterfly in that area, and maybe they were all different butterflies, but I didn't see any other butterflies at any other time. And then later in the winter, when we were down in Mindanao with the other part of the family, we would go out. We'd go to these resorts for just the day, you know. Sometimes we'd stay overnight. And somebody would have a butterfly with them, and they all said it was Connie. And it looked like the butterfly I saw in Luzon, which was 500 miles north. So Charlie in England, there are others who believe that. And I saw the butterfly, and it was a lone butterfly. There were none others around. And the butterfly that, anytime this event happened, the butterfly looked just like the butterfly from the last time it happened. So, folks, I hope you enjoyed these stories. As of this recording, it's very hot where I am. I mean, not right now, because fortunately we finally got some rain, but it hit 99 degrees today, and the heat index was 112. If it's hot where you are, stay cool, stay hydrated, and stay creepy forever. We'll see you for more next time for the most amazing homesteading channel on the entire planet that has nothing to do with homesteading off the grid. Bye-bye.